thought it would be unpleasant. I don't know.
Perhaps.
For me personally, for you, maybe not.
How did you deal with this thing?
Just hide it. If you. It's the hide, yeah, hide floating meeting tools.
So scary.
I'm gonna sit down.
Like,
after
this is-
this celebration.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you seen Ace this semester? I haven't seen Ace.
I have not. Oops. It's big.
Yes, you have a TA's.
One second. All right, we'll get started in a couple minutes. Yeah.
Did they say they were gonna vote? We did? Okay, maybe they're waiting. Take
Wait another couple
1 minute,
minutes.
you know?
Yep.
Oh, no, they actually have,
Well,
they have like less than 60 seconds actually, but.
some more people.
Everyone's here.
Let's wait another 2 minutes.
Wow, there's people.
I know. Wow, all of a sudden,
People, if you look at them.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Are you the diversity here?
Give me the voice.
Oh my God.
I know, I would probably.
Hmm.
Got
I
it.
know, I know. Yeah.
I do. Easy.
And it's like, I mean, not there, like. I know it's like.
There's. There we go. Another. Chair. You'll have a chair.
Oh, there.
So I'll make sure you got it.
Well, it was-
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, I'm really like.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
No, I'm good. I'm actually not here.
Okay,
I'm actually a student. So.
I appreciate that.
Try to go to your room.
Okay, I'll get started.
Marketing? Only.
All right, hi, everyone. Welcome to Figma Decal. Thank you all for showing up. Super excited to kick off the semester with everyone. Oh, welcome in. So what we're going to be doing today, introducing you to the course, what we're about, who we are, what we do, some basic tools in Figma, some basic design principles, and yeah, here's the attendance form. If any of you are curious, I see some eyes perking up already. I'll give everyone a second to write this down. We will also, it might be quicker to type in this URL to get a copy of the slides. All the links will be on there, so feel free to just follow along with me. I'll stay here for a moment, let everyone get settled in. Of course. So yeah, here's the attendance form. I'm gonna leave it up for another 10 seconds. In 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Here's the slide deck link, as mentioned earlier. So if you missed the attendance link, let's type in this link and you can find the attendance link on the slides. So I'll stay here for another 15 seconds. Get everyone settled in. Might actually close this door. Okay, cool. Everyone okay? No objections? Okay, I'll be moving on. So let's have some introductions. Hi, I'm Chris. I'm currently a 4th year student. It's my last semester, if you can believe it, studying computer science. And yeah, I'm really passionate about design and inclusivity. So I'm excited to spend the semester with y'all. If you are a TA, I'm putting y'all on the spot. You're gonna have to stand up, introduce yourselves.
One, I'm still off. Third year, it's 23rd, and I'm decided to do.
Yeah, please clap. Woo!
Hi everyone, I'm Danielle. I'm a 3rd year comp sci major. This is my 2nd semester teaching class. Had a lot of fun last semester, so I'm back. Really passionate about design education. Big lover of Figma, so I'm happy to be here.
Do you have any other TAs? Are you hiding? Wonderful. Anyone else? Okay. Unfortunately, my better half is not here. She's out sick. So please bear with me as I ramble through this entire lecture by myself. Katie, she'll be joining us next week, hopefully. But yeah, that's us. Feel free to reach out to us on Slack or by email. Probably Slack for me particularly. That's where I'll be more responsive. But yeah, who are we? What is the course about? We want you to be comfortable using Figma. Shocker. That's probably why most of you are here. You want to learn about Figma and how to use it. And yeah, you're not going to know every little trick, but ideally you'll be comfortable enough to make a project. Maybe you'll make a website or an app or, animations. We'll give you the opportunity to pursue your interests. We want you to create a community. You will be attending lab weekly. You will have 5 to 7 others, perhaps, and your TA. So this is the opportunity to, collaborate with your peers, learn about some other design opportunities on campus. This is where you can find other people that are interested in design. And we want you to develop a critical lens for design. So we're going to be giving and receiving feedback in this course. And so we want you to be, confident in what you produce and, able to stand on your own. And so here's where we're at. Here's our semester. Week 1, right there. We're a 2-unit, 12-week course. And we start today, obviously. Thank you for showing up. And we'll be going up to April 25th with a break for spring break. And there's a total of 12 lectures, I think 11 labs. This might be subject to change in the future. We'll let you know. But every week you can be expected to show up to lecture and show up to lab. Weeks 1 through 6, we'll be covering basic tools in Figma, some critical design theory, and this will all be culminated into a midterm project. And then from there, once we have some experience, we'll cover more advanced techniques, get a little fancy in Figma, create some design schemas. We'll work with components, prototyping, you name it, we'll do it. Just kidding, probably won't do everything. But weeks 10 through 12, we'll sort of slow down, let you all focus on your final project and talk about more like community content and stuff to that matter, what you can do with design, what you can expect to see with design on campus, stuff like that. So again, mentioned this before, you'll have lecture and lab, but you'll also have homework. Lecture every week, Thursdays, 5 to 6:30. We're going to focus on teaching Figma mechanics and design theory. And there'll be an attendance form. Homework is going to be released directly after lecture and will be due the following week before lecture. Generally, there's going to be a reading portion and a Figma design portion. So by the end of lecture, take a look on B courses and you'll see 2 assignments for you to start this week. And lab, hopefully, you know when your lab time is. If not, we'll be getting that out to y'all very shortly. And you're going to work with a TA and dedicated team of students to sort of collaborate and, work through Figma together. Please come in person. These are synchronous events. Yeah, and here's sort of what the course looks like. Here are our labs on Tuesdays, our lectures on Thursdays, and office hours. This week, I don't believe the link is posted. So if you need to meet with Katie or I, reach out to us directly on Slack. In later weeks, there will be a Calendly, so you can just book a 10-minute or 15-minute appointment with us. And that'll be Fridays, 4 to 5 this week. We're a little more flexible, but yeah. Any questions so far? Course content and structure, logistics? No? Okay, move on. So here's where you can access most of the work. See B courses. Here's where you submit your assignments. And here's where we will give you feedback and grades. The course Slack is probably where you'll spend the most of your time, hopefully, talking with your peers, talking with us. Treat it as like a community. Really, it's not that serious. And yeah, our Figma community content is where we will publish a lot of materials. Should have received an invite, but we have had some issues in the past uploading to this Figma community, so might not be the most reliable, just a heads up. Okay. Woo. Let's talk about Figma. Yeah, thank you. Was expecting some applause, some cheer. All right. So can I get a show of hands who was like booted up Figma in their browser or like maybe on their desktop? I see some shy hands. Raise your hand if you haven't yet touched Figma at all. Okay, got some hands. That's okay. Hopefully we've made an account by now. And you can also upgrade to a student account to get free pro. But yeah, so in Figma, you might be familiar with this already, but navigation is sort of what you'll be doing all the time, right? Moving around the design file. So panning is what we call that. Moving left, right, up, down. You can use the trackpad. You can hold the space bar, click and drag. And you can use the hand tool by pressing H to sort of automate that space bar holding. And there's also zooming, pinching with the trackpad, using Control Command and scrolling, and holding Z and dragging. Cool. Sounds awesome. Here's what Figma looks like. This is your workspace. There's a toolbar at the top, a left sidebar, a right sidebar, and your canvas. So the canvas is where you work. This is where you have your design file. And, this is where you do your designing. If you want to hide the sidebars, quick little note right there, you can press Command backslash. Yeah, that will hide it. You can unhide it in the same way. So what does our left sidebar look like? This is where you will see all your layers. And so you can see the page you have open within the file and the layers that are on the page. This can be a frame, a group, multiple objects, components, text, yada, yada, etc. All of it's going to live right here. We'll explore this more in depth later. And our assets panel is where we can manage components, which again, talk more about later, but just letting you know, this is where things are. Our right sidebar is what the selected layer is all about. So here's where you can sort of adjust values. So right here, we have this element that is selected, and you can see we can change the alignment. I'll move my camera. So the alignment right here at the top, manipulate that. You can also manipulate the position the object is on the canvas, its width and height, its angle, its tilted at, and the border radius. The layer opacity, the fill property, in this case it's red, the stroke outline, here it's black, and we can add visual effects like shadows at the bottom, and we can also export these selected layers individually, which is really neat, like as a PNG or PDF or alternate file type. So yeah, additionally, there's the prototyping mode, which we'll talk a lot more about later. This is where we can program in functionality with our designs. And the inspect panel is also there. Sometimes it hides from me. That's okay if you don't see it. But this is particularly helpful if you want to code up your application. And finally, the toolbar is where all of the tools are. Toolbar. It's pretty sparse, just a few tools, but they're all really powerful. And we'll talk more in depth with these next week. But right now we'll get through the selection tool, the frame tool, the shapes tool, and the hand tool. So already 4 out of what, 8 we see here? It's quite a lot. Another thing, FigJam is released. We encourage you to check it out. It's more of a lightweight collaboration tool. I use it a lot for like brainstorming. It's pretty fun. There's like a built-in music player. It's a good time. And we'll look at that later, week 6. Okay, that was a lot. I just unloaded so much information at you all. Feel free if you don't retain it all, right? Slides will be posted. But let's take a moment. I've been talking a lot. Let's navigate to this link right here and start playing around with some of these features we talked about. I know you don't want to listen to me talk for an entire hour and a half. So let's get on over to this design file. Oh, sorry. I'll probably leave this up. Is everyone here? Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna navigate over now. Okay, people are being silly. That's fine. That's what this is for. Collaboration, having fun. But I will be moving it off of the instruction. Thank you. Okay, people are actually editing the instructions. Also fine, completely okay. Like you should be creating a frame on Figma. And that is up here at the top left. This is the frame tool. So you can click this and you can place it down over here. You can resize it and change the name by double clicking on that little gray text. So this is my frame. Very cool. And now you can play around in here. Okay, so I'm gonna give everyone 5 minutes to start messing around. Please actually partner up with the person you're sitting next to, introduce yourselves, and potentially collaborate on a little playpen together.
I thought I wanted to, but I'm not getting it. Like, I'm like really freaking out. Yeah, it's not a lot of like. That's so. I don't know if there's a big line, like, so. Is it a line? Oh, you're- Oh, you don't- you don't- Oh, yeah, I don't do that. Oh. Oh, wait, Alright. Wait, are you copying? No. Wait, are they? You're so.
Okay. Thank you. Hope that was a fun little exercise. Hope you got to also maybe meet someone new. Maybe this person's in your lab. Maybe you'll be seeing a lot more of them throughout the semester. Who knows? What's up? Sorry, say that again. We do. They're not released. We'll send out a Slack announcement. Yeah. Yeah, I'm so proud of everyone. This looks awesome. I will print this out, put it on my wall. But I'm gonna get back to lecture. And feel free to stay on this design file and mess around with these tools that I will be talking about. I think it really helps, build some muscle memory if you're working together with me. So let's talk about the selection tool. That's the basic sort of tool in Figma. You can drag and move layers, resize elements. You can access this with the shortcut by pressing V. And the blue box appears while you hover over something to give you a visual indicator of what is being selected. So pretty cool stuff. Moving on, grouping. We can group layers. This is useful. I hope you all saw my example with my grouped smiley face. This is all one group, and I can just move it like that. Pretty cool. To do that, you can use this shortcut, or I really like to do is the old-fashioned right-click. Here's ungroup, but you can imagine if it wasn't grouped before, you could group it. And yeah, so hold shift as you select objects, then you can right-click, or you can use the shortcut. And yeah, so we'll look at this also on the layers perspective. So let's go back. As we're grouping something, let's group my text in this arrow. You can see on the left, Figma knows what layers I have highlighted. That's pretty cool. And then let's group this. Right-click, group selection. Boom. It's created group 10 for me. And then if I were to expand group 10 on the left side, I can see here's my arrow element and here's my text element. Still there, Figma just decided to sort of nest it within the structure. So that's what we talk about here. When you're grouping something, you're creating a nested layer. And you can sort of move through this layer by double clicking into it to access the elements within it. Or you can deep select holding Command when selecting. And again, use the layers panel on the left to actually get the element you're looking for. Here's how to move something horizontally and vertically. You might think, I know how to do that. I can already click and drag something. Actually, holding Shift will lock your element into a horizontal or vertical plane. That's pretty cool. Let's try it out. If I were to drag this element around, here it is. Holding Shift, I can only move it horizontally or vertically. You can see if I go far out left, it will snap into the appropriate plane. That's pretty cool. Learn something already. You can also duplicate layers. You can always copy and paste, Command C, Command V. You can also duplicate with Command D. And the coolest, fastest way is by holding Alt and dragging. So I encourage everyone to try that out right now. Click on an element you want to copy, hold Alt, and drag it. Give everyone a moment to do that. Pretty cool. Now, maybe you also noticed that when holding Alt, these special sort of box showed up. These are measurement guides, and they allow you to see distances between certain objects. You can see in this GIF example, these red lines pop up, and Figma will show you the measurement, the distance between certain objects. And these pop up automatically. Okay. Neat. You don't need to remember that, but that's cool. What about scaling an image? You can do that with dragging the corner of it, or you can use the scale tool by pressing K. I think the scale tool is pretty cool. So let me show everyone. By clicking this object and pressing K, ooh, it's not working. What did I say? There it is. I didn't even notice it. It was working. Here's the scale on the right-hand side. It's much bigger on the TV. And I can select a giant smiley face by scaling it up 4 times. Or I can make it half of what it once was. Be tiny. That's pretty cool. Instead of dragging the corner like this. And you can see while you're dragging it, the value will update on the right-hand side as well. Fun fact. Additionally, you can rotate an object by holding your cursor over the corner and then dragging it. Let's do that. Pretty cool. Does everyone see this? Wow. What happened? Thank you. We all see this. What happens, I wonder, when we hold Shift and do the same thing? Oh, that's interesting. Figma will lock my element to 15-degree increments. How neat is that? How neat is that? So this is just the more you know, Figma has a lot of hidden functionality behind the Shift key. Let's talk about flipping an object now. This might be fun. What can we do? We can hold Shift and press H or V to shift between the horizontal and vertical axes. So let's everyone go try this out right now. I want my smiley face to actually be flipping. You can see it. I'm pressing H. I can also press V, and it'll flip it. It's pretty cool. Okay. We just covered a lot of things with the selection tool. And That's okay if you don't remember any of this. I'm just throwing a lot of jargon at you. So maybe you'll remember, oh, I saw Chris flip something in lecture. I wonder how he did that. And then you can search on Google, flip image in Figma, and up will pop up the shortcut. You know, you don't have to have this all nailed down right now, is what I want to say. And for now, just remember, selection tool shortcut is V, and try holding shift when you're doing some actions. Cool. Let's move on to frames, text, and shapes. What are frames? Frames are one exportable area. An illustration can be a frame. An app screen can be a frame. This slide is actually a frame. Fun fact. And frames are indicated by the hashtag icon on the left-hand side in the layers panel. We can see here in our layers, we have some frames denoted like so. So didn't we make frames? We already did this. Let's look on the left side. All of our frames have showed up here. Very cool. Oh, this frame has actually multiple frames within it. Isn't that cool? And again, the shortcut is by pressing F to create a frame. And you can rename a frame by messing with this little gray text at the top of it, or again, at the left side here. Making frames. For a square frame, you can hold shift. Again, that shift key, it's always popping up. Shift key will lock the frame in to be, to have the height match the width. So you're not making, a rectangle, you're making a square. And again, our right sidebar lets us modify element properties. So you can always change the width and height later by using the right sidebar. And the coolest thing, I think, is if you're designing an application, maybe specifically for the web or specifically for mobile, Figma has predefined dimensions for your devices. So I think that's really cool. Let's look at that. In our frames, when we're creating a new one, look on the right side here, and it gives us all these options. So I want to develop a desktop app. I like making websites. So right here, I can choose the device. Oh, whoa, that's pretty. I have a MacBook Pro. I'm gonna select this frame and it's already right there. I don't have to worry about resizing anything. Maybe I'm making a responsive application. Oh, now I gotta account for when my user navigates to my website on their iPhone. And there it is, right? That's pretty handy. And we'll look at this more later, of course. Again, you guys are already a step ahead. We looked at this earlier, nested frames. You can put frames within frames, completely okay. This shows up in more complicated design files. That's a way to organize your structure. And yeah, moving on to text. Breath of fresh air. Text is pretty straightforward. It's a text box. You've probably seen this in Google Slides. Indicated by the T icon, the shortcut for accessing it is T. That's cool. What are some properties of text? You can change the font. Again, on the right side, you have a bunch of configuration options. So you can change the font. You can change the weight. Is it bold? Is it italic? You can change the font size, the vertical spacing between lines, and maybe the horizontal spacing between letters. The width of the text box. Do we want our text to be aligned to the center or the middle, etc.? The text color we can change with the fill property, and the text stroke property will outline our text in a potentially different color if you want. And Figma has recently added spell check. I don't know if it's recent now, but some other neat things, it has built-in lists. Personally, I find the lists to be kind of inhibitive. Maybe you'll really enjoy them. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Let's talk about shapes. Shapes are cool. We have two main shapes, the rectangle and the ellipse. Here are their shortcuts, R and O, respectively. And again, you can click and drag. What happens when we click and drag while holding Shift? Can anyone tell me? No? Let's see. Let's see. Let's press R. Now I have a rectangle. I'm dragging it. But if I hold Shift, the width and height are matched together. And look, this is a perfect square. Awesome. Hold Shift. You can also just click. That's okay too. And this will place a 100 by 100 square on the canvas that you can resize to your liking. Again, we have the right panel where you can manually edit certain properties. We'll talk a little more about fill, stroke, and effect. It's where you add color. And we'll talk a little more about this next week, but we can all watch this GIF together as we, mess around with these properties. I'm sure many of you have already found this feature as I've been seeing some very creative work. And image fills. I was actually surprised to see some people putting images in our design file, but you can upload images to Figma, which is really cool. And additionally, you can use the images to fill an object. So maybe you place down a rectangle or a square with a fixed width, like we see in this example, and you can place the image within it. So it's bounded. I think that's really cool. Figma also has smart shapes. And these let you manipulate border radius, corner radius, and you can see how awesome this star gets. Very fun to play around with. You have a lot of freedom in Figma. And any questions? A lot of stuff. Image fill? Yeah, let's go back to that. This GIF is kind of small. Let's be a little larger. But I'll show you right now. If I can get out to the design file, if we were to say, go back to here's my example. Right here. So I made this cool star shape. And again, you can mess around with all these features. Very cool. But let's say I wanted to fill this star instead of this color. I wanted to fill an image. I can choose an image right here, and it'll bring up this file manager, and you can select it from your computer. Awesome. Any more questions? Scaling? I think it was K. Yeah. Dude, I don't even know where it is. That's a lot of stuff we got here. I'm pretty sure it's K. So if we press K, yeah, you can see the scale pop up right here. Any other questions? These are all great questions, by the way. Awesome. So again, I just want to reiterate, throwing a lot of stuff at you. You don't have to remember it all. You're going to explore these further in lab and just as you grow more comfortable with the software. So activity part 2. Let's all navigate to this other design file. And I already have it pulled up. And it hasn't been desecrated yet. So awesome. Yeah, sorry. Okay, let's once again turn to our partner and talk about your favorite shape so far in Figma. No.
Okay, got it. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, wait. Do you have a phone charger? Okay. I don't know. Okay, wonderful. That was a fun break. Learning so fast. I have almost nothing more to say to you today, except I do. We have to talk about design. What do you think of when you hear design? Question for the room. Yell it out. iPhone, cool design. What? That's okay. That's okay. I tried. Yeah, I'm having so much fun up here, honestly. Design is problem solving, identifying problems, and finding solutions. It's form and aesthetic, creative communication, expression between different people. Dude, my camera has just been in the way. It's storytelling, understanding design as a part of a space, as a culture, as a community. It's also empathy, working with, not for, to create something meaningful. It's everything, period. It's everything. Everything you see, it has been designed by someone for some use, for some aesthetic. Maybe that purpose isn't all that functional. Maybe it's more beautiful. Every problem you solve is a solution you have designed. It's pretty powerful. Yeah, I see some nods. Crazy stuff. Here's a bunch of different design concentrations. Fashion design, game design, package design, UI UX design. Shout out. Take CS 160. You'll learn more about this. Yeah, so many different fields. So here are a few design methodologies. Human-centered design, 2 thumbs up. We like this one. It's creating solutions to challenges oriented around the human or user needs rather than around the designer or the company or the market, etc. I don't know. This one just sounds like a no-brainer to me, but you know how it is. Sometimes people lose sight of things like this. Anyways, neither here nor there. Accessible or universal design is awesome. Prioritizing the accessibility of all people in a target audience without needing special additional adaptations. Nice. Equity-centered community design, focusing on equity, history, and healing, power dynamics, community co-creation, and solving problems. Wow. It's a lot of different methodologies. These are only a few of them. But what we will learn particularly is how Figma can be a tool for design. So obviously, Figma Decal, centering our curriculum around Figma. At its core, it's a tool to apply to anything. I mean, we normally think about it as something to design UI, UX, but I mean, really, you can do graphic design, layouts, there's vectors, there's animations. Yeah, so we want to focus on how you can leverage the suite of tools that Figma has to offer to do hopefully whatever you want. And we will learn some design theory and methods to build a foundation on how to apply the tools we learn. So very important for every designer to know that in order to create effective, meaningful, empathetic designs, we must stay grounded towards certain principles. And yeah, any questions on that? No, we got to sit with that for a little longer, huh? Yeah. Well, thank you for coming. This is our wrap-up portion. Here's a shout out to the Figma desktop app. You don't have to use it, not strictly necessary. Your browser is a great tool, great place for Figma. But the desktop app might have a little more flexibility. Particularly, I like it because you can add custom fonts to further customize your design. It also just feels better. Generally, it runs faster for me. Yeah, not required. Recommended, however. Figma community. Here's where you can find all of our slides, homeworks, and anything. We did say earlier we've had some trouble uploading, so we should put an asterisk by anything, but generally, this is the place you want to go to find the resources. Oh, homework. Who forgot about homework? I did. I was having so much fun. We do have homework that'll be released soon. And this is to create your own trading card. So should show up in our, I don't know if it's on our community page, but it will be linked on the B courses assignment that will be made public at 6:30 when this lecture is over. So there, you can copy this file and make it your own version and edit it, and then you will be uploading that. And of course, have any questions, ask your TA when you see them in lab, or shoot us a message on Slack. Speaking of lab, you will have your first lab next week on Tuesday. We will be sending out times tonight and assigning you all to Slack channels with your TA. That will happen by tonight. And this says Thursday. That's a lie. Damn, could not catch every single thing to update, but yeah, lab going to be a place for you to work in a more closer knit environment and go through some activities in Figma and talk about design. Cool. And that's it. Secret word for attendance. Wow, putting me on the spot. First word that came to mind was bubble. I don't know why. That's what it's going to be. So remember that attendance link all the way in the back? Yeah, please fill that out. Secret word is bubble. Doesn't matter. Up to you. Excited to see what you pick. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. Let me know if you need the attendance link. But yeah, please clap. Please. Thank you. Thank you. Woo! Excited to see everyone next week. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.